My significant other has a childhood best friend that I can't get rid of. You're probably wondering, why would I want to get rid of his childhood best friend? That's because she secretly wants to be married to him. Yeah, I have the whole rundown, but essentially she shows up everywhere I am. She ignores me completely and only talks to him. She doesn't even say my name, and she addresses him with these little pet names. The worst part about this situation, though, he doesn't stand up to her. He just allows it, the disrespect in front of me. So, let me tell you what happened when I ended up at her parents' house. It's a long story how I got there, but oh man, it was a disaster. It almost led to a divorce because he didn't stand up to me, and I was caught in the middle of it, and this all got recorded and posted on Instagram stories. Oh boy, today's story is a wild one. My name is Hope. I'm married to Joseph for 3 years, together for 5. Knew each other for 7. After my ex messed with his best friend, I literally came home early from a work trip and found them in there. In the bed my grandmother's quilt was on. I went to therapy for 2 years before I even attempted to date again. I worked like really hard not to bring that baggage into my marriage. Joseph knew all of this from date 3. He held me while I cried about it on date 5, and he promised he would never give me a reason to doubt him. And technically he hasn't. I mean, he's never cheated. But there's one thing. This one person, I'm finally done pretending it's nothing. Her name is Autumn. They've been friends since 2nd grade, and when she moved to town and the teacher sat next to Joseph because he was the nice boy who would help the new student, see, his mom loves telling that story. She tells it every holiday while Autumn sits there smiling like she won the lottery in 2nd grade and has been cashing in ever since. They went through everything together, first crushes on each other, though Joseph swears it was just kid stuff. First school dance, together as friends, driving lessons in her dad's car, college applications to the same school, and, of course, graduation parties. You know, she's in every childhood photo at his parents' house, every family vacation, and every Christmas card until I came along. His mom has more pictures of Autumn in their house than she has of me. I counted once during Thanksgiving when I was hiding from his drunk uncle. 17 of Autumn, 4 of me. 3 of those 4 were from our wedding, and in one of them, Autumn's in the background looking like someone hurt her puppy. Let me paint you a picture of how Autumn operates, because she's not your standard pick-me girl or obvious boundary crosser. She mastered the art of being just subtle enough that explaining it makes you sound like the problem. She's a marketing director at a tech company, makes good money, is objectively attractive and dates regularly, though never for long, and has tons of friends. She's not some sad, lonely woman, just, chillin'. She's calculating, strategic, and she plays the long game that would make chess champions weep. Here's the scorecard from the past 3 years. Events that she's been invited to is our engagement party, my 30th birthday, Joseph's 31st birthday, 2 Thanksgiving dinners, 3 Christmas parties, a New Year's Eve party, our housewarming, my promotion celebration. Let me go on. Joseph's brother's wedding, where she was explicitly listed on the invitation. Okay, and you want to know the events that she's actually attended? 0. Yeah, that's right, 0. Her excuses were work emergency, engagement party, stomach flu, car trouble, family obligations. Come on. Oh, and my all-time favorite was when already had plans was the excuse. That was for all 3 of the Christmases. Oh yeah, migraine was New Year's, out-of-town housewarming, food poisoning for the promotion party, and my also second favorite, she forgot about the wedding despite being in the wedding party group for 6 months. Okay, let's talk about the time she's invited Joseph somewhere without me. 23 times, yeah, I wrote it down. I know because I started keeping track after the first year when I felt crazy. Coffee to catch up was 7 times, lunch near his office 4 times. Drinks after she got dumped was 5. Her company parties where +1s were allowed, that's 3 times. And the random I have an extra ticket, yeah, 4 times. And the time she invited both of us was 1 time, to her birthday party, and then texted Joseph separately saying I probably would not enjoy it because it's mostly our old crowd. You want to know the time she's acknowledged my existence when we're in the same room? I don't know, maybe 4? And that's me being generous, but here's a typical autumn encounter. We run into her at Target. This happened 8 months ago. Joseph and I are debating which laundry detergent to buy because we're exciting married people. She sees us from across the aisle with her face lighting up, and she practically runs over saying, "Oh my gosh, Joe!" She's the only person who calls him Joe. His own mother calls him Joseph. She hugs him. Long hug. The kind where she's doing that thing where she presses her whole body against him and holds on for a beat too long. I'm standing there holding our fabric softener like an idiot, and she launches into this whole thing about her job, her apartment renovation, her ex, who apparently didn't understand her connection with her friends, her workout routine, her vacation planning. 20 minutes! 20 minutes of talking exclusively to Joseph while I'm standing 18 inches away. Not one glance my way, not a high hope, not even acknowledgement that I'm a human being standing there. Joseph tries twice to include me. Hope's actually been doing that same workout program. Autumn keeps talking like he's never even speaking. We were thinking of going to Greece too. She redirects back to a story about their high school Spanish class when Joseph finally says, yeah, we should get going. She says to him, not to me, "Tell Hope I said hi." I said, "I'm right here." I'm close enough that I can smell her perfume, which fun fact, is the same one Joseph bought me for Christmas 2 years ago. When I asked how he picked it, he said it reminded him of something but could not place it. Yeah, mystery solved. Joseph's response to this stuff, it's like he has a script. Oh yeah, she's just socially awkward. That's just how she is. You're reading too much into it. She doesn't mean anything by it. That last one should have been my red flag. All his girlfriends, plural. I asked his brother Willie about it once after too much wine. Turns out, Joseph has had 4 serious relationships, including me. The other 3 ended within 2 years, and when I asked why, Willie just said, "Well, why do you think?" and poured me another glass. The wedding, oh man, the wedding. First, she RSVP'd, yes, like enthusiastically. Texted Joseph privately about how honored she was to be included. The week of, she had a work crisis, but she still showed up. To the ceremony only, wearing a dress that I can only describe as a revenge dress. It was appropriate for a wedding, but also it was the dress you wear when you want everyone to know what they're missing. She showed up right before the processional, sat in the family section, not where she was assigned, and cried through the entire ceremony. Not like happy tears, oh no, the kind of crying that makes everyone just turn and look. Joseph's aunt asked if she was okay, and she whispered loud enough for 3 rows to hear. Just watching the end of an era. Then the toast. She wasn't supposed to give one. We had a best man, Willie, and maid of honor, my sister. But during the reception, after the scheduled toast, she grabbed the microphone, just walked up and took it. The DJ looked at us, and we were too shocked to stop her, and she just launched herself into a 15-minute manifesto disguised as a toast. It said, "I've known Joe longer than anyone in this room except his parents. I was there for every milestone, every heartbreak, every triumph, and I know he hates carrots, but will eat them to be polite. I know he's scared of moth, but tell people it's just bees, because that's less embarrassing, and I know he wanted to be an astronaut until he found out about the math requirements. I know all of his secrets, all of his dreams, all of the parts of him that no one else gets to see." She went on and on about their bond that transcends time and distance, about being constant in each other's variables, about how some people are meant to be in your life forever in whatever form the universe allows, and she ended with, "I'll always be his person no matter what changes, no matter who comes and goes, to Joe and to Hope." The pause before my name, the way she said it like it hurt her mouth. The room was silent for 3 seconds before awkward clapping started. My cousin was filming, and you can see my face go from confused to angry, to the kind of resigned you get when you realize this is your life now. Well, Joseph, he was tearing up. Later said that he was touched that she cared so much, and then there's the social media crap I'm not proud of noticing, but hey, patterns are patterns. Every time I post about our anniversary, within 48 hours she posts a throwback photo of them. Can't believe it's been this amount of years since the photo. Time flies with your day one. She has never liked a single photo of mine, not one, but she watches all of my stories. That little eye icon, the one that pops up every time when you know someone's seeing it. She posted, some people aren't meant to be in your life forever, just meant to teach you lessons. The day after our wedding. And then she refers to him as my person consistently. Not my friend Joseph or my childhood bestie. Oh no, my person. There's a photo from high school where she commented last month. Before everything got complicated, she said simpler times. When we got engaged, she posted a black screen on her story with just the music Someone You Loved by Louis Capaldi. She has a highlight reel called Day Ones that just is photos of her and Joseph spanning 20 years. But I kept trying and I kept smiling, and I kept being the cool wife who doesn't get threatened by female friends. Because I'm not that person, right? I have male friends, Joseph has other female friends I absolutely adore. See, his coworker, Sarah, comes to every event and brings the best wine. His college friend, Jennifer and I text memes to each other daily. This isn't about gender or jealousy, it's about whether the hell Autumn's playing a game, and she's been playing it since 2nd grade. 3 weeks ago, everything drastically changed. Out of nowhere, she DMs me on Insta. No text, because we don't have each other's numbers despite 3 years of marriage. She DMs like she wants a paper trail. She said, "Hey Hope, random, but I'm working on my MFA. It's a thesis project and I need a model. I know you've done so much modeling and thought you might be interested. Paid, of course, would love to collaborate with you." Collaborate like we're colleagues, like we have any kind of relationship. I was so shocked I just stared at it for 10 minutes. Joseph saw me looking at my phone and asked what's wrong, and when I showed him, his face lit up. He said, "That's great. She's reaching out. This is progress." Progress? After 3 years of being treated like furniture, but okay. Maybe this was something. Maybe she was trying, so I said yes. Joseph immediately said he would come with me. He said, "I haven't seen Autumn in a while, and I can catch up with her after a while, while you change or whatever." Red flag, but I was trying to be positive. The day of the shoot, Joseph was weird, nervous, kept checking his appearance in the mirror, changed shirts twice, and asked if his hair looked okay. I asked why he cared so much, and he said that he had not seen everybody in a while and wanted to look presentable. Everyone? That should have been my warning. See, Autumn's parents live in this massive house 2 hours away. Old money type vibe. This kind with a name, Willowbrook Estate or some crap. They have a whole wing converted into Autumn's photography studio. Come on. Because of course they do. Professional lighting, multiple backdrops, equipment that costs more than our car. I'm actually impressed for 30 seconds until I realized the entire family is here. Her mom, Paige. You just think Southern Belle who married Connecticut money? That's her. Pearls at 2 p.m., wine glass perpetually full. The kind of woman who says, "Bless her heart," as an insult. Her sister Haley, which is 2 years younger than Autumn, married to some hedge fund guy. Well, she's currently pregnant and making it everyone's problem. An aunt whose name I never caught up to, but who kept calling Joseph sweetheart. And Autumn's dad briefly hugged Joseph and said, "There's our boy," before disappearing into his study. Paige hugs Joseph like he's returning from war. Both arms, pulls him in, holds him there, rocks him back and forth like, "Oh, my sweet boy, look at you, still so handsome." Then she turns to me, looks me up and down like she's evaluating some sort of livestock, and gives me this kind of nod. A nod that you give to the help. Like, hello, not a hope, not nice to see you, just hello, with a period in between you could hear. Haley says, and I'm quoting directly because it's burnt into my brain, "Oh good, you brought her." Not to me, about me, to Joseph like I'm a pet that he decided to tote along. The school starts, right? Here we go. I'm actually professional at first when the photo shot was going on. Autumn knows what she's doing technically. Good lighting, interesting angles, she's clearly talented, but then the commentary starts to begin. It starts with Paige. Joseph, honey, you look thin. Is she feeding you properly? She says this while I'm literally, 5 feet away. Then at that point, Joseph actually mumbles something about being busy at work, and Haley jumps in. Oh, remember when Autumn made that wedding Pinterest board with you in mind? Joe, sophomore year of college, she had the whole thing planned, even picked out the venue. Autumn, still shooting, says that was just for a class project. And Paige says, was it though? You seemed pretty invested. Still have it, don't ya? And Autumn just keeps photographing. The aunt says, you two were such a beautiful couple in high school. Joseph starts to say we weren't a couple, and Paige says, oh please, everyone knew you were meant to be together, we all saw it. Some bonds transcend a label. And Haley says, still could happen, second marriage and all. She laughs like it's a joke and nobody else is laughing. Paige says, we always thought Autumn would end up with him, but life has a detour, I suppose. And she just kept on with the photography. And the same aunt says, remember their prom photos? Absolutely stunning. I still have them on the refrigerator. And that's when Paige says again, Joseph, do you remember that summer at the lake house? You and Autumn stayed up all night talking on the dock. What were you two talking about for so long? I don't remember. Joseph is now bright red like a tomato, shifting his weight back and forth, looking at the floor. Haley says, oh my gosh, and that time you two drove to Chicago without telling anybody? Dad was ready to call the police. And that's when Autumn finally speaks. She says, Hope, turn your chin left. No, your other left. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Paige says, Autumn had your children's names picked out. Remember, Joseph? What were they again? Something classic. And Joseph clears his throat and says, oh, that was a long time ago. And Paige says not that long. Time is relative when you're talking about a soulmate. The word soulmate hangs in the air like a fart in the elevator, and Haley says it's nice of Hope to help out considering... Considering what? I mean, I want to scream at this point, but I don't. I just keep posing because my childhood trauma responses to freeze and disassociate when under attack. Years of therapy and I still turn into a mannequin when people are cruel to me in groups. It goes on for an hour, a full hour of them planning my replacement while I stand there in different poses. Autumn never defends me, never ever redirects, never even acknowledges the inappropriateness. Just Hope, look toward the window. Hope, hand on the hip. Hope, smile, but not that much. The worst part was Joseph. He just stood there uncomfortable, clearly, but not stopping it. At one point, Paige literally called him son, and he responded, thanks, Mom. Then caught himself and turned red, but still didn't say anything. When we finally leave, I'm shaking. Not like dramatically, just that internal vibration you get when your little fight or flight activates. Joseph is silent until we're on the highway. Then he says, that was weird, right? Weird. Like we just experienced some quirky family dinner and not a ritualistic humiliation ceremony. I said, yeah, weird. He reaches for my hand and I let him take it, but I don't squeeze back and he doesn't even notice. That night he tries to, love me. His usual moves, hand on the hip, kissing on my neck, pulling me close like nothing ever happened. Like we didn't just spend an afternoon listening to his surrogate family plan our divorce. I turn away and he sighs, asks me what's wrong. I just say I'm tired. He accepts it immediately and rolls over, and within 5 minutes he's snoring. Yeah. I lie awake cataloging every time something like this has happened, and he's acted like I'm overreacting. The next 3 days, I draft 20 different texts to Autumn. I delete them all. Draft conversations with Joseph. Have none of them. I'm in this weird suspended state where I know something has to change, but I'm so tired of being the one who has to force it. And then yesterday, salvation comes from an unexpected source. My sister-in-law Jordan, married to Joseph's brother Willie, sends me a screen recording. No context, just what is this? It's from Autumn's close friend's Instagram story. It was 37 people that saw it. I'm not one of them, but Jordan is. It's a video of me from the shoot. I look good. Actually, I look professional, composed like an actual model, but the audio is what matters. Clear as day, you can hear Haley say, Autumn should have been the one to marry him. Then Paige's voice says there's still time, and then they laugh. Autumn posted this. I mean, she chose this clip to post, added it to her close friend group, and wanted people to see how her family treats me. But didn't want me to have proof, except she forgot that Jordan exists, and Jordan is what we call a girl's girl. So I text Jordan back, how long has this been going on? 6 hours this has been up. There's 17 comments, and I say, what do the comments say? Oh, well, you don't want to know. Oh, I do. So Jordan sends me a screenshot, their mutual friends discussing whether Joseph knows what he's missing, someone saying Team Autumn forever, and another saying the wrong girl won. Someone else writing, why did he even marry her though, with a crying, a laughing emoji. I show Joseph the second that he gets home, watch his face change from confusion to recognition to anger. But here's what makes me mad. He was there. He heard it in person. He stood in the room and heard them say that I should not be his wife, and he did nothing. It only matters now because other people can see it. Well, because there's also evidence and because it makes him look bad. We need to talk, I say. Jesus, Hope, I don't know that she recorded it. That's not the point. You were there. You heard them. You did nothing. Well, I didn't want to make a scene. But you're fine with me being humiliated. At that moment, he gets quiet, and then he says, well, what do you want me to do? I don't know. I want you to pretend for 30 seconds that you give a crap about my feelings, and I want you to imagine how you would feel if my family spent an hour talking about how you were not good enough while you stood right there. I want you to consider that maybe, just maybe, Autumn is not socially awkward. She's been undermining our marriage since day one, and you've been letting her. Every event she skips, every time she ignores me, every boundary she crosses, every Joe remember when story, and every photo that she posts, it's all deliberate. She's marking her territory and you're letting her just crap all over our marriage. He winces at the metaphor but doesn't argue. Call her, I say, right now and put her on speakerphone. So he does exactly that. She even answers the phone on the second ring with her special voice, the one that she uses only for him. Warm, soft, intimate. She says, Joe, I was just thinking about you. Did you see the photos? Hope looked amazing. I'm glad. And then, well, Joseph cuts her off and says the video, the one you posted. Oh, what video? You know, the Instagram story, your family humiliating my wife. At this moment, she laughs, like actually laughs. Oh my gosh, are you really upset about that? They were just joking around. Hope knows we're friends. She's not insecure like that, is she? I see something shift in Joseph's face. He says, we're just friends? Of course, what else would we be? Then why does your family think you should have married me? Silence. Why do you skip every event with Hope but invite me alone? Silence. Why have you never, not once in 3 years, had a real conversation with my wife? Silence. You know exactly what you're doing. You always have. And I let you because I didn't want to lose our friendship, because I convinced myself it was harmless, because I was a coward. Joe! Stop calling me Joe. Stop acting like we're still kids. Stop pretending this is normal. What happened at that photo shoot was disgusting. Hope came to help you, and you let your family treat her like garbage, and you posted it for people to laugh at. She says, I'm being dramatic. This is obviously her making you like this. No. This is me being 20 years too late. I'm done. Autumn, don't contact me ever again. You don't mean that, Joe. We're family. We have a history. Hope is my family. You're someone who doesn't respect my family, so lose my number. You're seriously choosing her over everything that we have? There it is. The choosing. Like it's some sort of competition. She's been running for 20 years. The fact that you think it's a choice tells me everything. Goodbye, Autumn. She's actually crying now. This isn't you. This is her. She's making you. Joseph hangs up, blocks her on everything, and then turns to me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have done that years ago, he says. Within an hour, the texts start rolling in. Willie says, finally, Jordan and I have been waiting on this for years. You know, Autumn broke up Dylan's engagement, convinced him no girl would accept their friendship, and Dylan's alone now, and Autumn still isn't with him. Dylan's ex-fiance, who found me on Facebook, says, I heard what happened. The same thing happened to me 3 years ago. See, she convinced Dylan I was too controlling because I didn't want her sleeping over at his apartment when we broke up. They never dated and he's miserable now. Joseph's cousin says, thank goodness. At your wedding, Autumn cornered me crying about how she gave Joseph one last chance to choose her before the ceremony. I thought she was drunk. Now I realize she was serious. A college friend. We all knew that she was in love with Joseph. We had a betting pool on when she would finally confess. We thought you knew and were just being cool about it. His high school teammate says, Autumn used to tell everyone Joseph was her soulmate, and they were just waiting for the right time. We thought that they had some weird pact. But the most revealing message comes from Haley, Autumn's sister. It says this: I'm sorry about the shoot. I grew up watching Autumn plan her life around Joseph, and she legitimately believes that they're meant to be together. She's been waiting for him since 2nd grade, and Mom encouraged it because she loves Joseph. Dad went along with it, and we all just assumed it would happen eventually. When he married you, Autumn had a breakdown. Like, stayed in bed for a month, couldn't eat, and Mom wanted to hospitalize her. She's been pretending to be okay, but she's not. She needs help, and we enabled this instead. I'm sorry we took it out on you. Joseph read all of it, everything, then tells me more. Autumn, drunk texted him our wedding night saying it's not too late to change your mind. She begged him not to have kids with me until you're really sure. She offered to be his escape plan if marriage goes too hard, and she sent him photos of herself trying on wedding dresses for some day. Well, he deleted it all. Never told me because he thought he was just managing the situation himself. I thought if I ignored it, she would move on. I thought I was protecting everybody's peace. I said you were protecting her from consequences while letting her disrespect me. It's been 4 days since we cut her off, and the extinction burst has been spectacular. She showed up at Joseph's work crying, had to be escorted out. Paige called Joseph's mom saying there was a misunderstanding, and she posted a photo carousel of her and Joseph through the years with the caption, "Some people are worth fighting for." She made 3 fake Instagram accounts to watch my stories. Girl, your writing style is very distinctive. I knew it was you. She's been getting mutual friends to pass along messages, and she showed up to a group dinner that she skipped for 3 years and cried the whole time. But here's the thing. Without Joseph protecting her feelings, people are finally seeing it. You know, the group chat without her has been eye-opening. Everybody has an Autumn story to share. Oh, she told me Hope trapped Joseph with marriage. She asked me if I thought they would last. She made me show her Hope's Instagram because she wasn't following her. She cried at my wedding during the vows because it should have been her, and she tried to convince me Joseph was unhappy. Well, guys, last night, well, first of all, Joseph is an individual therapy, not couples, because this is not an us problem, it's a him problem. He needs to figure out why he needed her validation so badly. He was willing to let her publicly humiliate me, and last night he asked me, do you trust me now? I said, I trust that you love me, I trust that you're sorry, and I trust that you want to fix this. But I'll never forget that it took public humiliation and strangers on the internet to make you see what was happening in front of your face. I'll never forget that you stood there while they all planned our divorce, and I will never forget that you knew that she was in love with you and just kept her around anyways. He says that's fair. I don't even know if fair matters anymore. We're still together, and he's doing everything right, therapy, blocking her, defending me to anybody who asks, but I also have 3 apartment listings saved in my phone, because my ex taught me that the best friends can end relationships, and Joseph taught me that even good men can be too weak to stop it until it's too late. This morning, Autumn posted another sad quote. Sometimes the person you would take a bullet for is the one holding the gun. Joseph screenshotted and said she's right about one thing. She was holding the gun, and I just kept handing her ammunition. Maybe we'll make it, maybe he won't, I don't know. But at least now we both know the enemy was never each other. It was the ghost of a 2nd grade seating arrangement that someone refused to let go. Though honestly, if another Autumn shows up, she can have him. I'm too old, too tired, and too over it to compete for my own husband's loyalty anymore. So, let me end it with this. I'll ask you guys the question. Would you have waited this long for him to realize what I was going through? Or do you think, you know what? It's over now, let's just move on and I should be happy with my husband? Guys, let me know. But for now, this nightmare is over.